I produce the Liquidation channel with Tom Schultz, and we interview anyone in the liquidation industry. So if you're interested in being on our podcast, please reach out, liquidationmotivation@gmail.com, and we can get you on.
Nice. So this is the fan base from Liquidation Motivation. Well, very good. Well, I'm going to introduce you right here to your fans and to your friends. So y'all know that I do this whole cage fighting thing. So you mind if I give you some love?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, folks, Esteban Nina is the founder of Estacam, where he helps liquidation businesses build systems that capture leads, manage customers, and streamline their sales operations. With a background in e-commerce and having built a 3,000 item eBay store from the ground up, he brings systems first approach to marketing and advertising. Esteban works closely with operators in the liquidation space to turn attention into lead generation and long-term customer relationships. Estacam helps liquidation businesses implement lead generation systems that capture customer information, automate follow-up, and support consistent growth. Their focus is on building practical marketing and sales systems, not just visibility. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the CEO of Estacam Marketing Agency. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Estacam!
I'm not a fighter, I'm a lover. Hey everyone, thanks for allowing me to be on the stage today. I was here last year and I was like, man, I want to be a part of this. So I'm super grateful. I want to start with asking everyone here about marketing. What does the word marketing mean to you? If anything, when you think of the word marketing, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Anyone, you can just shout it out. Anything that comes to marketing, when it comes to marketing. Selling. Advertisements. Social media, right? Content, any of those things. So that's the word marketing. So marketing is all those things, but it's a part of those things. And I used to think it was just one of those things because I come from video production, photography. I come from graphic design. That's what I was doing when I was in school. After school, I learned about music composition and web design. So I always thought that it was all about getting found online, grabbing attention, visually appealing. I thought to make things pretty or sound nice, or I thought that's what it was about. So I learned all those things, and all of that matters, but marketing is more than just a piece of those things. Marketing, for me, is a system. It's a system that those tools that we just mentioned are supposed to facilitate or help. And let me simplify the system. The system is awareness, lead capture, follow-up. If I walk away right now, that's what I want you to remember. Awareness, lead capture, and follow-up. But what does that mean? Let's deep dive into that. Because if your marketing gets attention, but it doesn't capture the lead, we're always starting over, trying to get attention from the same audience. And that's what a lot of us do. And that's what I used to do a long time ago. And we got to stop doing that, because if we don't get the lead capture, or if we are capturing the leads but never follow up, then all that time that we spent with the awareness part was for a waste. So that's why I say marketing is a system. It's more than just one thing. And systems is something that I'm always thinking about. And that's why I always see it like that. I was thinking about systems way before I got into liquidation. I'm the kind of guy who takes pride in always learning, always going out of his way to learn and ask questions. So whenever you meet me here, you're gonna see me asking you more questions than talking. I would always find channels about side business, side hustles, and one of those things was selling on eBay. And I used to sell on eBay. And I started with a guest room and built my eBay store in there. and grew it to 3,000 items. And then from 3,000 to 6, and then 6 to 10,000 items. No longer do it, but that's how I started. So even before liquidation, I was always thinking in systems, because in that guest room, I had a system for sourcing. I had a system for photography. I had a system for shipping. I had a system for the inventory management. And so I continued educating myself, and I stumbled across a guy on YouTube saying he wants to build the world's largest online thrift store. And that's Tom Schultz. A lot of you know him, and a lot of you know him from Liquidation Motivation channel that I produced with him. And when he said that, I remember thinking, man, I want to be part of that. That sounds really cool. And the reason why I felt confident to reach out to Tom was because I had built that system, those systems in my home, and I knew I could translate it to something bigger for Tom. And I want to say, not to brag, but I find myself in a rare position, because I don't look at liquidation as a marketer, as a general marketer, but I look at liquidation with respect, because I understand what you go through. I understand the ins and outs, the ups and downs that you go through. I understand the speed that you have to go through when it comes to selling. I understand the chaos that happens behind the scenes. You know, a lot of my teams right here in the front, and they can attest to the liquidation industry, and I understand that everyone here goes through that. So I do have respect for that. So I always think about your customer's journey, or our customer's journey. We want to always figure out, how can we get people from attention to taking action? And that's with that a proper marketing system, the awareness, the lead capture, and the follow-up. So deep diving into it, awareness is number one. That's where the social media lives. That's where paid ads live. That's where the websites, logos, branding, promotions, reels, and hashtags, that's where all that lives in the section of the marketing system. But each of those pieces, they gotta lead somewhere. They gotta go somewhere. Each of those posts, those reels, any content that you create, even an invoice, could lead somewhere and should lead somewhere. And that should lead to the lead capture. And that's number two. So I'm gonna ask you, do we actually have a way to capture those leads? Now, I don't mean just followers, because if we get followers from Facebook or eBay even, it's not our audience, it's theirs. And so we're borrowing their audience. So are we capturing leads for ourselves? We want to be able to capture names that we can recite. We want to be able to get phone numbers, their phone numbers, so we can call them. We want to get their address so we can knock on their doors. I'm just kidding, don't do that, it's creepy, okay? What you want to do is take their address and then send them a flyer. How's that? Cool? All right. We want to list the people that we can actually reach out to again. We can't do that always through our social media channels, and even some of our POS systems doesn't restrict us from communicating with our own audience, which is pretty crappy. So I want you to understand that I learned that back when I was selling on eBay. I knew that we didn't own our own audience. Meet me at, when we go drinking later tonight, I'm gonna share you a little secret that I can't really say here that I used to do. But find me a drink and I'll tell you. But what I want to say is that if we try to reach out to people on eBay and try to capture their contact information, what happens? Anybody know? Who's been in eBay jail? Amazon jail. Facebook jail. Look at it more. And that's because we don't own that audience. We don't own that audience. We want to be able to reach out to our audience and talk to them. So the question is not, are people seeing my business? Because a lot of us know how to post online. You know, we do it when we take pictures of our food. You know, we post it online. We know how to do that. We could do that for our business. But how are we capturing those leads? Has anyone ever heard of Hope Marketing? Anyone ever heard of Hope Marketing? Everyone in this room has heard of it. Let me explain the scenario, okay? A customer walks into a shop, all right, gets great service, and then the customer leaves. Shop owner sits back, twiddles his thumbs, hoping that that customer comes back, hoping that they might have told a friend. That's hope marketing. And that's because the shop owner didn't capture the lead. Shop owner can't follow up, and there's no way to stay top of mind to people that you didn't capture their lead. The easiest way to fix that is with a funnel. Now, an outside marketer, someone that's outside of liquidation business, is going to give you an elaborate explanation about what a funnel is. But I'm going to break it down to you simple. A funnel is a guided path. That's it. A guided path. What do I mean by that? A good funnel takes a visitor of your page and holds them by the hand and takes them from one step to the next step to the next step. That's what a real good funnel does. This is our landing page in our funnel at Liquidation Motivation. And it can be just as simple as this. A landing page, a form page, and a thank you page. The landing page got to have an attractive offer. The form page should have no more than 5 questions. And the thank you page should explain what happens next. Hey, I'm going to send you an email. Check your spam box if it's not in your inbox. You just want to let them know and not leave them hanging. And that's why a good funnel works. It guides clear next steps from one page to the next. The landing page, only one call to action. Click this button. The form page, one call to action. Fill out this form. The thank you page, only one call to action. Check your email. That's what you want to do. Has anyone ever heard this Russian proverb? If you have, complete it for me. If you chase after 2 rabbits, you will catch none. That's correct. If you chase after 2 rabbits, you catch none. That's why we only offer them one call to action per page of the funnel. The goal is to capture the lead. That's the win, to capture the lead on the funnel. Now, an attractive offer is what's going to make the funnel work, and why the word free becomes powerful. And this doesn't mean people are stupid. It's not because of that. It's not because people are cheap, but because the word free removes the friction. It allows people to engage with you without too much commitment. And it doesn't mean that we should offer anything for free. It has to be attractive, and it has to make sense. And we see this outside of liquidation quite often. Scott offers free money orders. Kids eat free at IHOP. And then in AutoZone, you can get a free battery check. In liquidation, we see that too. I offer free websites. If anybody watched Liquidation Motivation, the first thing I say is anyone in the liquidation business, I will offer you a free website. And that allows me to capture the lead. And then later on, we can build on that. For Liquidation Motivation itself, in that funnel that you saw, the attractive offer is a sourcing guide for those who just started in the liquidation business. Bert at Build My Auctions, they have free sign up. And I want you to understand that you know what you can offer and what you can't. There's a story in the Med City podcast, go Mike, and he gave away an entire pallet for free. Why? Tune in to find out. Subscribe to his channel, all right? And you'll find out why he did that. But I want you to understand that it's not random what he did, and it's not reckless either. It was strategic. It was designed to get people to take that first step so we can start that relationship. Just like Tom does with the sourcing guide, just like what Bert does at Build My Auctions, and what I do at Esticam, and I offer a free website. It's to start that relationship. But I want you to understand, but none of that matters if there's no follow-up. Sometimes we capture the lead and then we ghost them. How ridiculous is that? We do that sometimes. I know I've done it. And that's wasted opportunity. When we capture the lead, it's not the end, it's the beginning of that relationship. But if there's no follow-up, we lose the people that we worked so hard to try to attract and to get. And it doesn't have to be complicated to follow up. We can automate that with initial emails, sending messages that keep you top of mind. When a qualified lead engages with those emails that we send out, then we can step in and we can build that relationship. I think I have enough time to tell you a quick story. Tom and I, we ran a bowling alley, and I implemented a system where we can communicate with the guest automatically or through automation. And I didn't want the employees to pick up the phone every time, so the AI agent would answer those calls. But when there was a birthday party, our manager would go jump in, intervene, and then capture that information to try to book a party. We want to be able to build that relationship very similarly. So let's bring it all together. We want awareness, which we are already doing for the most part. And this is like the paid ads, the content that we create. And those should lead somewhere, and that should lead into the lead capture with a guided funnel. And then and follow up with email automation and build a relationship with qualified leads. If we're not building a system like this, we're back to hope marketing. And we don't want that, right? We don't want hope marketing. We want to build a system. So I'm going to leave you to a question. Do we have a system to capture the lead? Thank you very much.
All right. Real quick. Yes, please. So I immediately, one of the things you just described, I feel like the algorithm in my Facebook right now, because we all get these, videos that have a swipe here, and then it takes us to that page, that next page, and then the thank you. So you showed that to us. What do you think? So is this the system that I'm curious? Number one, how much paper, you mentioned brochures or flyers. I mean, are we seeing a total removal of hard copy stuff and fully towards digital? Is there any reason for any of our folks out here to continue, if they are doing paper product, direct mail, things like that for their bin store, whatever? Is there still value in that, or should they be leaning completely digital and virtual with these things you've mentioned today?
Yeah, not to be funny, but we live in 2026, and everything is automated. We will be left behind. I'm not joking about this. We are going to be left behind if we're not utilizing the tools that's available to us, especially with AI and automation. And it's not hard to do, and that's why you start seeing a lot of these software solution companies having multiple booths now. Each year, you're going to see more and more software solutions because of the ease and use of AI. So I not to dismiss print marketing, there is a place for it, and it depends on the industry you're in. I don't see it much for liquidation. I don't see it unless we're trying to do something clever to try to reach them. But for the most part, print ad does not work for liquidators, for the most part.
Great. What other questions do we have regarding marketing? Who has a marketing budget? Raise your hand. What do you think of that?
I see that often, where only a few people say they have a marketing budget. But the truth is, you're already doing marketing, and you could implement an easy system to complete it. You not necessarily have to use paid ads, but you do have to complete that system. A lot of us are just doing the first part, but not the other steps.
So we get all the way to there,
And then we like, oh, we got them in the door, it costs.
Yeah, because here's what's happening is that, again, we're capturing those leads, but we're not talking to the people that we reach, or we're sitting around waiting for a list, people to talk to. Even if you don't even have any inventory, you should be marketing. If you don't have inventory, you should be going out there, talking to people, creating that lead list. That lead list is your lifeblood, because without it, who are you going to sell to when you do have a load? Who are you going to sell to when you have an unusual load? For example, let's say you have, I don't know, Damien mentioned, what was it, the meat plates? What was it? Reusable? No, it's not reusable meat plates. It's like a styrofoam thing. And it's because he's got a lead list of people, and whenever he has something unique like that, he can reach out to them and he can be creative. But without a lead list, without capturing a lead and creating your lead list, you don't really have a business. I don't see it.
Would you say that people almost they create those? It's like they're not looking far enough in advance. They're looking to market for now, for tomorrow, not necessarily for that long-term deal, like you mentioned, that may come our way, and being able to just have the value in the data.
I hesitate because I don't want to offend the person I spoke to earlier today, but they asked about loads, and they were like, "Well, I'm here because I wanna buy loads." I'm like, "Cool. You want to start a pallet house? Awesome. Who are you gonna sell to?" "Oh, I don't have a list of people to talk to." And then I'm like, "Okay, how do you plan to do that?" "Oh, I'll just post on Facebook." But again, without that system, you really don't have it. You don't have much.
And how do you? And by the way, if you came to buy loads, we have them. So please make sure you see all the vendors next door. You mentioned AI. I am curious. Can you give us one specific place where you see AI affecting what we can do with marketing? For me, like I look and, you know, we don't have to. I love all of you photographers and videographers and everything, but it's, man, we don't really, like, you can tell it to create an ad for you, and within moments, you have something postable to put on your social media or wherever. So, how do you see AI in a way? Is there any kind of recommendation that tomorrow someone could go home? Bridget, who we met earlier, Bridget, hi. Bridget could go back to Alabama and tomorrow go, I can use AI to maximize my marketing in this way. What would that?
So yes, at the circle that I'm with when it comes to liquidation, motivation, bin chasers, and a few other people that's in our circle, we definitely use AI. The way we use it is twofold. One is an AI agent that can pick up the calls, answer for you, jump in when the AI already captured the initial information. Or you can use text automation. There's a feature that texts back the customer if you missed that call. You can set it up automatically, so this way the AI agent can text back immediately. And we monitor the conversation that the AI is having with the customer, and then we can jump in when the AI is not quite answering the question the way you want it to, or if it already captured enough qualifying questions, so this way it's not interrupting us with tire kickers, you know. That's two. Three would be using AI to create the commercials that you were referring to, video. So Paul here, he edits our videos for Liquidation Motivation. So does Melly for bin chasers. And Melly uses what is Sora. Sora was one of the big ones, but it's going away, so we moved over to Kling. I personally use a software called Higgsfield, Higgs field. What I like about Higgsfield is that it takes all the AI platforms, puts it all into one place, and then I can pick and choose what I like. So the way I would use it is there's a way to clone yourself. So you take your camera, you take a picture this way, this way, this way, this way, this way, and however you want, different angles, right? Upload it. Also record your voice into it. Boom. Then you enter the prompt. Hey, this is the background. There's bins behind me. Or these are my pallets behind me. Take this, take my image or my character that I created, and I want me to say this, and then press render. It might take you three or four times to get the right one that you're looking for, or sometimes iterations when you go in there to change the prompt a little bit. You know, oh, I don't want that palette to look green, I want it to look white, I don't know, whatever you want. So that allows you to create the videos. So that's 3. I think that answers your question the most best.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody have any other questions? Any other questions? Who realized it was that easy anymore just a quick commercial? So, I mean, literally seconds. And if you're not real sure, then go to an AI and say, hey, how can I use you to make a commercial? And it'll tell you that too. So,
Let me share one thing. I wanted to share the value of capturing leads again. And just how I used it too, before I even got into liquidation. So before I got into liquidation, I was doing eBay, and before eBay, I was doing airbrush tattoos, doing little airbrush tattoos for kids at a flea market. And I knew the value of capturing the leads by doing this. We applied the airbrush tattoo to the kid, we took a picture of them, and we asked them, hey, fill out this form here, and we'll send you the picture online or via email. Once we did that, we got them. We won. Why? Because now we can communicate with them over and over again. And that's what I did. We can communicate with them over and over, and we could, because it was an airbrush tattoo, it was for kids, so we always talked about how this is important, because when we add people to our lead list, we are putting them into a nurture sequence or into a newsletter. And that newsletter that we communicate with them, it's got to be valuable to them. And so for the airbrush tattoo, we're talking about birthday parties. We're talking about, hey, these are cool ideas for birthday parties. These are cool ways some creative ways to do birthday parties. And then eventually they would communicate with us, and then I can book a birthday party with that client. Same thing applies to liquidation motivation. People sign up for the sourcing guide or for another campaign, and then people respond to them or ask more questions. Now we can build that relationship. So that's what I recommend.
absolutely. Well, Esteban, thank you very much for your expertise. Thank you for sharing that with us today. Would you please give Esteban Nina a round of applause?
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I've met so many people here virtually and then now physically, and I'm grateful to have new friends. So whenever you see me, just come say hi.